Auto-wise, I don't know that, dude. I haven't checked in like 2 years. Cool, would you like me to find out for you? I'll put you on a 15-minute phone call. That's an easy conversation to have, folks. And then once you're the person that did this financial solution, you're like, okay, Angie P, what else you got in your bag? Well, when's the last time you checked your life insurance? I don't have life insurance. You don't have life insurance? It's probably one of the 3 reasons. You probably think it's too expensive. You just haven't got around to doing it. Or you wouldn't even know what to buy even if you did. Which one was it for you?
I'm not sure which one to buy.
Not sure which one to buy. Angie P, I hear that all the time. And when before I got my life insurance license, I didn't know either. Be a real human being, because I didn't. Before I got my life insurance license, I didn't know either. Make sure you tell people that, like, you're not the only one. It's cool. I didn't know either. In fact, there are people right now that have a life insurance license that are still out there robbing people. We just showed you an example. Because they're giving them 2 things, making it out to seem, like Emily said, every TikToker on planet Earth, be your own bank, infinite banking. You can't balance a freaking checkbook. What the hell makes you think you're qualified to be your own bank? You don't need to be your own bank. You need to have an investment person help you choose an investment that has done well over time. The cool part is we get access to all of these companies. When you're talking about the Primerica opportunity, it goes 2 ways. I promise you, everyone you know, Carla, you look very young, Jasmine, you look very young. You have time to start investing, even at $50 a month. You guys have time, and I know I'm showing you guys a bunch because I want you to really, really understand how we help people. Do you understand that 22 years of age to 75? I told you, if you were only able to start with $50 a month, you could start somewhere. And if I kept it at 10% increase annually, so which means in year number 2, you're going to be paying $55 a month into your investment account. In year number 3, it jumps up to like $61. If I did that for you, and you went all the way, and the highest that you ever invested at any point in time was $500 a month. This is just an example. You're turning over an investment account to your family of $3 million when you're 75 years old. Starting at 22 with $50 a month. That's what's possible right now, team. I can't speak passionately enough about that. There's so many people, because again, I went to Chick-fil-A the other day, I easily dropped $50. And that was one time. One time. So you guys have that ability. You got to be licensed to start off with the insurance, because we don't do investments without insurance. For most, that's our philosophy. Here's the reason why. I'm going to show you on the line why. Because if you have $100, so you're like, Frank, no, I can afford $100. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to give you 2 examples here. Which would you rather your family have? If you give me $100 and I put it in an investment account, after 1 year, you've invested $1,200. But if you give me $100 and I allocate 30 of it to a life insurance policy, and that's a $100,000 death benefit, and I'm only putting 70 in your investment account, $70 multiplied by 12 is $840. If you pass away after the year 1, your family gets $100,000 plus $840. If you pass away with just the investments, they get $1,200. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to look at what you're talking about doing. Let's say you're just this 25-year-old person, and I need to get you to 65. I'm going to look at your journey. That's what we're going to do. And Carla and Jasmine and Dakota and Kamani, I know you guys don't know how to do this yet. Here's the cool part. Stand on my shoulders and call yourself tall. Stand on Karen's shoulders. Stand on Brian and Melinda's shoulders. Stand on Emily's shoulders and call yourself tall. You're going to be able to explain to people how you're doing for them better than what they would have had. And if they like what they're seeing, guess what? Do you want to do this with me? I'm getting licensed. I want to help people. I want to turn people like myself who can only start with $50 into multi-millionaires later on in life. If that sounds fun to you, let's do it together, okay? I'll show you how. That's what we do when we do those observation appointments, all right? So I want to jump back to why explaining buy term and invest, the difference is just the first part of it, all right? we're gonna do that for at least 10 more minutes. I'm gonna ask a couple people that have never done it before, just based off what we talked about, to try and explain. You know, you told me, Minette, go ahead and unmute. Minette,
Okay.
I told you I do have whole life. Minette, why do you say that whole life is not as good as your buy term and invest?
Well, first of all, in the very beginning, you're not making any money.
She's frozen or am I frozen?
Oh, I'm probably frozen. Can you hear me?
You're not frozen.
Can you hear me all right?
Sounds like her.
She might be frozen.
Yeah, my internet,
And Elise,
my
I
internet's
told you that a
unstable.
whole life policy. Can't tell me, is she frozen?
I think we're having a storm in Florida. That could be it.
You're good, you're good. Are you okay with me going to someone else?
You can do whatever you want, Frank. I'm here for the people to learn.
Okay, fantastic. Annalise, so I told you I do have a cash value policy. Why are you saying it's not good?
Okay, let's go into this. Frank, in this example, I want to just show you something, right? Right now we have $100, which is the cash value policy. And do you mind if I educate you a little bit about what you have?
Sure.
Okay. So let's just say in this example, you're paying $100. You actually might be paying more, but in this example, you're paying $100, right?
Mhm.
Half of it's going towards getting yourself life insurance, income protection for only $100,000. So any debts you may have to pay off, anything like that is only about that much coverage. The remaining is going towards what you're building as the cash value, the savings, correct? Is that what you might know it as, your life insurance plus savings?
Hmm?
Perfect. So with that, what I really want to show you today is things that you just may simply not have known about your policy. The first one is that what you have with the $100, splitting it between your cash value and your life insurance, it actually takes 1 to 3 years before your cash value accrues. With that, it kind of leads into our second point, because when it does start earning interest, right, going back to that rule of 72 and thinking about that, it's only growing at a 1 to 3% of that guaranteed growth.
It's not that
So
much.
right now you're sitting at, for the first 3 years, your cash value hasn't even been building. And when it does, now it's building at 3%. But the two last points kind of go into, the third one is, think about this. It's not as liquidatable as you really think it is. Because if you needed your cash value, which is your money, right?
Mhm.
Did you know that you would have to be actually paying back at a higher interest rate? Did you know that about?
I knew I had to borrow it. I knew it was going to be available for me to borrow. I just didn't really pay attention to what I had to pay back at.
Right? And, you know, as a professional, if I could even just look at your policy and show you it, it probably is in the fine print. And a lot of people, that's why these get sold easily. People just don't know about them, because it probably does say in the fine print, you're borrowing more than it's growing. And when you think about that, you know, think about the end product. Do you really want to be owing money on your money? You know?
I don't like the idea of owing money on my money.
No. So the fourth reason, and this is probably one of the most important reasons and why we're here today and why I appreciate you allowing me to educate you, is because upon your death, your beneficiary, whoever you signed on currently for your policy, only receives the greater of the two values. So whether that's your life insurance policy, which most times it is, or it's your cash value. So therefore, your death benefit only receives one, not both. But what I want to show you here is what we believe in here in Primerica, which is buy term and invest the difference. Because Frank, for that same $100 that you're already putting towards, we can split that up. Think about it. Have you ever heard of auto insurance and savings?
No.
Does your health insurance have a savings account tied to it?
No.
So should your life insurance have a savings account tied to it?
It doesn't sound like it should.
Well, let me show you the difference. With that same $100, number one is probably for a much affordable rate, you can actually get more coverage. think about it. For the next 30 years, if you have any debts, if you have a mortgage, anything that needs to happen, creating generational wealth for your beneficiary is much more achievable when you're properly protected. Separate that, because the second is a mutual fund, having your own investments. Because in a mutual fund, number one, it accrues immediately. You don't have to wait 1 to 3 years. So would you like waiting 1 to 3 years or having it accrued once you open up the account today?
I like the idea of once I open the account.
Nice. So the second one is, the amazing thing is, I showed you that we have, with our license, we have access to accounts that have historically averaged 10% or higher. If I could accidentally get you even 12%, would that make you happy?
It would make me happy.
Well, even thinking about it right now, at even just a 9%, it's already growing better than the 1 to 3%, right?
I definitely would take 9 over 1 to 3 for sure.
Hey, it's your money. It's your money. Number 3 is, like I said, going back to that liquidatable, I'm your financial professional. You give me a call, you need that money, it's your money. Frank, it's your money. Having your own mutual fund is your own investments. So you have to not withdraw without any penalties or any payback interest. And like I said, this is the most important one, because Frank, you have a family. You have people who depend on you, have your income. So when it comes down to, in the situation, what you're building, generational wealth, financial independence, number 4, if anything were to happen to you, your beneficiary receives 1, the full death benefit, and your investments. So the full value of your mutual funds. So think about it. With that same $100, we build it because you don't need life insurance, Frank. Let's be honest. We get you with a 30-year level term policy today. It's probably going to be about, you say you're about in your 50s. If we go through this, we can get you an accurate and show you options of what it's like at a much cheaper price. Whatever's left over, you're already paying the $100. Put it into a mutual fund. Who knows? We might even show you your financial independence number, allow you to actually retire and know how to hit your goals. So then, in the circumstance of loss, in 48 years, just like the Rule 72 shows, you got money for your family, and after that 35 years, you don't need.
The
of
audio's
education.
off.
Let's say cash value side A and buy term and invest the difference is side B. Which one would you rather be in?
I mean, if everything you're saying checks out, it seems like B sounds like the better of the 2 options. Because remember, they're not going to trust you at that point in time. It's important that we understand that. If you expose that many things about an actual cash value policy, it's going to be hard for someone to digest. That point of fact, they only get one of the 2 things, not both. It's going to be hard for them to digest. So we have to be very, very careful. When we're explaining this particular bit of information, it's going to take an immediate pushback from the brain to say, there's no way that this dude is right and that everyone else selling this is wrong. There's no way. It's going to immediately go against everything that sounds smart. Well, then how did they get away with doing that, Frank? It's because you signed it. They showed it to you. It was in black and white. They didn't lie to you. It's in all of their paperwork, but did you read your full 80 pages? No. So, okay, they didn't lie to you. They didn't do anything wrong. They technically didn't do anything nefarious. They told you that for $100, I'll give you 100,000, and I'll stick some of that in cash. They didn't tell you exactly how much. That's the other thing. They don't tell you what dollar amount's going toward this and what dollar amount's going toward that. They never tell you that. You're just good with it. You sign on the dotted.
Audio's gone.
Look, your insurance only costs $45. Having said that, I'm sticking $55 a month into your mutual fund. Would you like to know how much is going to your savings or not like to know? What do you think most people are going to answer?
Would like to know.
I would like to know.
I'd like to know. So just be really, really small with it. Like I promise you guys, it does not have to be magnanimous. It does not have to be. You just need to be real small with this. Look, Annalise, we just met and I don't have your policy. I don't know how much you're paying. I just know how they work. This is how they usually work. For whatever, let's say you're paying $100, they're gonna give you some death benefit, they're gonna bundle it with cash value. But I've seen those policies. I know that you can't tell me. Can you tell me right now how much money every month actually goes into your cash value? She's gonna say, no, I don't know, Frank. Can you tell me what percentage it grew at last year? I don't know that, Frank. Do you know what percentage you gotta pay it back if you ever borrow any money? I don't know that, Frank. By the third, I don't know that, Frank, you gotta be careful. You just made somebody feel really small about something that they own. So be careful. Like you just took it back. You hit them in the face. They have been paying that money willy-nilly into that policy, not knowing that they technically got taken advantage of. All right? But you don't want to speak too confidently. You haven't seen the policy yet. We want to make absolutely certain that we just let them know, listen, I know how those policies work, and here's kind of an example. It usually takes about 1 to 3 years for the money to grow. It only grows at about 1 to 3% interest, which is, the oldest mutual funds got 9% for 100 years. I don't feel like it's a good idea to get 3% when I know I could probably get you 9 in the market. You notice I said probably? Never guarantee anything. You cannot guarantee investments. There's risk of loss, team. I need you to understand that. But that would mean that the entire world's economy probably went to the toilet at the exact same time. And I just showed you how $60 a month from 1994 to 2024 still had 143,000 in it. It's more than what they had in death benefit. All right. I also know if you ever touch that money, they're gonna make you pay it back, and they usually charge you double what they're giving you in guaranteed interest. So does that sound smart to pay them more than they're willing to give you? No, it doesn't. Does it also sound smart? Did you even know that if you pass away, they're going to give that death benefit, but they'll keep the cash value? Did you know that? They're going to tell you, no, I didn't know that. It's so crucially important you guys realize that, because those three things alone right there, those 4 included, can really open up. And then you're just going to ask them, look, do me a favor. Let's not talk about this anymore. Give me a copy of your policy. I'm going to send you an email from my Primerica email. You screenshot it or scan it and send it over to me. If I'm wrong, I have a legal, moral, and ethical responsibility to tell you, no, your policy is way better than I thought it was. But the odds are it's not going to be. It's so cool when you get the chance to go, look, I just want to give you a second opinion. Like, again, someone breaks their leg and the doctor says you're going to need the most expensive surgery on planet Earth. You're like, mind if I get a second opinion? More importantly, you think your health insurance company is not going to say, Frank, I see that you have a doctor's thing that says this is what needs to be done. How about if we get a second opinion from another doctor? You're the other doctor at that point. And if you're on this call and you're not licensed yet, guess who you have? You have other licensed doctors. We'll review it together. We'll make sure we know what we're talking about, all right? And so when we're talking about how crucially important this is, I'm going to ask everyone on this call right now, do me a favor, in the chat, tell me how many millionaires exist in your family. Type that number in. How many millionaires currently exist in your family? -5, I love that, Dakota. I remember that. -5, girl, I love that. You can be the first one, or more importantly, you can help someone get there through our concepts, our solutions. We give people the ability to start where they're currently at. A financial needs analysis costs about $5,000 if you go to a fiduciary right now. If you go to Wells Fargo Advisors, you go to Stifel, you can walk into a Franklin Templeton office and ask to sit down with a fiduciary to give you a plan from point A to point B. They're going to charge you about $5,000. And you all are sitting on software that does it for free. You plug in the numbers, it gives you a plan. We can have these conversations, but you gotta know how to open up the line of communication. It can't be, hey, you got life insurance? No one wants to come at them like that. No one wants to talk about that. I want to figure out a way. I know I have auto insurance. I just shopped mine the other day. When was the last time you shopped yours? Been forever. I started working part-time with a financial services company. We have an auto and home division. I can do that for you. Let me know if you want me to set you up on a 15-minute phone call. You're doing someone a favor, okay? You do it, it gets you in the door. And then once you get in the door, guess what? You're gonna have a licensed professional like Karen or myself get on the call with you, and that's when we get to have conversations about, when I say what do we do, when I talk about how important it is that you understand, right now, somebody that somebody that has worked somewhere where they have contributed to this thing called a 401k. Put a one in the chat if you ever heard the term 401k. Have you ever heard someone say 401k? What a 401k is if I work for a company, like let's say I work for Charter Communications, and I'm a salaried employee or an hourly employee, depending upon their level, they might give me access to a 401k. It's a retirement plan for savings. And all 401k means is it's the place in the IRS tax code where that talks about the rules. That's it. When someone leaves their job, either they get fired or they quit, I don't care what reason, their 401k, they have 4 options if they've been contributing to that. They can either leave it where it's at. I'm gonna leave it with Fidelity, that's who was handling it, I'm just gonna leave it there. I can transfer it into my new employer's plan. Let's say I quit, I left that company because I got a better job at a better company. I can then ask them to roll it over into my new employer's plan if the new employer accepts rollovers. Option number 3, I can roll it over into a IRA, which stands for Individual Retirement Account. And option number 4, I can cash it out. I can take whatever money I put in there, but the IRS is going to tax me and penalize me. So as much as humanly possible, we want to avoid doing number 4. About 40% of people have done number 1. There are currently 32 million accounts. 32 million accounts that are just sitting there. That people are not, they don't know what's in them. They don't know. I'm going to give you an example. In 5 minutes, I'm going to show you why you got to start having these conversations. Because you guys talked about generational wealth. You guys talked about helping people out. That's my partner, Kevion. That's his uncle, Janelle. Me and my partner, Kevion, were having drinks one time. He brought his uncle. He says, Frank, what do you do? I said, I help people with financial solutions. He goes, what does that mean? I was like, you ever work for a company and contribute to a 401k? He said, yeah. I said, you still work for that company? He said, no. I said, cool. What'd you do with the money? He goes, I left it there. I said, give me your statement and I'll tell you what I can do for you. He got me his statement. This statement reads, from 7/1 to 9/30 of 2022, he had market value of $43,000 as of June 30th, 2022. I said, okay, let's go ahead and take a look at what I would have done. All right. I said, let's go ahead and roll that over into a traditional IRA. Let me show you what I would have done. And here's the reason why. Because from July 1st of 2022, when his account value was $43,000, to the time that we took that money out of his account, it was $50,000. He had it in there for 38 months in that 401k, and it only grew $7,600. It grew 4.6%. That's it. But if I would have met him all the way back in July 1st of 2022, I would have placed that inside of an investment account with like Fidelity. We have access to Fidelity Advisors Growth Opportunities account. Over the same period of time, he would have $90,000 in his account. That's easy math, kids. 90 minus 50 is $40,000 he lost because someone who knew him didn't have a Series 6 investment license. No one has ever talked to my boy's uncle, Janelle. The man's a retired veteran of the U.S. Marines. No one's ever told him he could have had a better investment. If you don't get out there and start, you got Janelle's in your family right now. Your auntie, your uncle, your mom, your dad. How do I know? Because my mom had 2 401ks and she never rolled over. But before I was Series 6 licensed, I couldn't ask my mom, yo, you know a 401ks you ever rolled over? Oh, mijo, I got like 3 of them. I was like, Mom, give me the paperwork so I can roll them over for her. Here's what's more important. This is a hypothetical looking at if I would have met him. I didn't meet him until May of 2025. I didn't meet him in 2022. But this is his account balance with me as of June 1st, 2026. He's already up 18.4%. I grew him damn near $10,000 in 9 months. In his 401k, it took 38 months and it only grew $7,000. So when I say you got to get out there and have these conversations with your family and friends, no, they don't have to join. No, they don't have to buy life insurance. If they're old, they don't want to buy life insurance. But everyone you know wants to retire. Put a 1 in the chat if you know someone that's already told you, Frank, don't worry about me investing. I don't want to retire. Put a 1 in the chat if you know someone that's already said, and guess what? We're just not going to talk to that one person. We're going to talk to all the other 8 billion people that do want to retire. Because this is what could have happened. If you look at, if I would have caught him all the way back here, there's $112,000 in his account as of June 1st, 2026. More importantly, if I would have caught him all the way back, I did the reverse math. He actually left his job back in January of 2017. So I did the reverse math. Him earning 4.6%, he would have had about $30,800 in that account back in January when he left. If I would have gotten a hold of that account, that $30,000, he would now have $199,000 in that account.
Oh no. Wow.
You're Primericans. You have access to a company that lets people start $50 or whatever they currently have. We do it for free. Yes, this says charges because it's called a front load fund. Fidelity gets a third, PFS Investments gets a third, I get a third. Whoop-de freaking do. I charged him $1,700. I made him $199,000. Because what did he have when we rolled his money over? He had $50,000 in it. I would have made him almost $150,000 during that same period of time. So I'm okay with charging him $1,700 for my services. And you should be too. You're not Mother Teresa. You're on your way to get licensed for life insurance. That's stage 1. But remember, auto and home you can do now. If you don't know how to do that, send a text into Telegram and I'll set up appointments with anybody that wants to learn how to start referring people to jump on. If you've never done your own phone call, do your own first. It's real simple. It takes 15 minutes. Because the moment you start to save people money, if you free up someone's money, guess what? They now have their money to invest. And you're the person that they can help, they can do that. You bring on a licensed investment specialist, and the first thing I'm going to ask them is, well, you also have life insurance, right? So they're going to be like, I don't have life insurance either. Well, that's what Carla does now. Carla helps people with life insurance and investments. She's on her way to getting both of those licenses. Let's see what we can cover you for. Carla gets credit. She also potentially gets a promotion. So I don't have a problem making money when I help people. You talk about generational wealth, and we all do. I don't need, all due respect, Elon to give me any of his trillion. Because I can show people how to start with $50 a month, and we all have $50 a month. I know we do because I watch our Instagrams. I watch how we spend it. I know what things cost. So guess what? Everyone that's on this call has a friend, a brother, a cousin. All of my nephews are investors. They're going to be millionaires. I will personally make my family millionaires because they understand how a Roth IRA works. Because Primerica showed me how to explain to people. That's what we're here showing you now. You can show people an opportunity. If they choose not to want to try to do what we're doing, cool. I know you need the products though. I know you need auto insurance because you drive a car. I know you need life insurance because you have a kid. I know you need investments because you want to retire. 1, 2, 3. You guys all have the same access that I do. You you should feel just as comfortable talking about all three of those things. If someone says they don't have coverage, it's only 3 reasons. I think it's probably too expensive. I haven't got around to doing it, or I don't even know what to buy. Which one was it for you? If you take nothing else away from this conversation, that's the first 3 things that you say when someone says, I don't have any coverage. Hey, Carla, how much life insurance coverage do you have right now? I don't have any coverage, Frank. Carla, in my experience, I don't care if it's been 1 week. In my experience, Carla, the only reason is you thought it was too expensive, you just haven't gotten around to doing it, or you don't even know anybody that sells life insurance. Which one was it for you? And you're going to answer. But if I can show you how to get some coverage, is that something that you want to have a conversation about? Of course, now that you showed me what it's for, now that you showed me why it's important, now that you showed me that if I die tomorrow, I just left my mom with a $15,000 bill for my funeral, yeah, I think I want to be a responsible adult. I want to actually have my own coverage. I just didn't know that's what it was for. I thought I was supposed to wait until I got older, like a viejito. Hey, I'm getting viejito, I know I'm going to die soon. We don't know when we're going to die. I know my birth date. I don't know my death date. And none of you do either. And nobody that you know does. So you just explain the concept. Look, do you know when you're going to die? Tell me, you know your death date? They're like, no. Cool. That's what life insurance is for. Because somebody's got to pay for your funeral, guy. Explain to people, do you want to be that person that puts it on somebody else's shoulders? If not, let's find you something affordable. I don't care if it's only $25 a month. If it covers at least your funeral, we did something good. And more importantly, I only want you to spend that $25 a month for as long as we need it. I want the rest of your money to go into your retirement accounts. I want you to be the first millionaire in your family, and I can start that for only $50 a month. That's you. You guys can have those conversations because you're going to bring in a life.
He's breaking up. I'm sorry.
Okay. I do want to take 2 seconds. I'm going to go one by one. Just tell me.
Recording
Carla, you want to do the